This week I've been driving the very impressive 2025 Lincoln Aviator. This is a Reserve 2. It pretty much has every single bell and whistle on here. It's a good car, it's a good luxury SUV, and we're gonna review it today, but stay to the very end because we're gonna put this on the spreadsheet with all the other cars I reviewed so far this year to see not only where it stacks up amongst other vehicles I reviewed, but is this a good buy most importantly. We'll check deals in the area after we take a look at this vehicle today and give you guys my full impression. If you want to know about the looks, you can form your own impression, but my wife really likes the looks of the Aviator. She liked the looks of the Nautilus too, but I think this is a better looking vehicle than the Nautilus I reviewed at the beginning of this year, the Nautilus Hybrid made in China. This one's made here in the United States. When we have these optional 22-inch wheels, we have the performance handling package, we have the air glide suspension, but I want to start under the hood. That's one of my favorite things about this vehicle is the engine. It comes standard with a 3-liter V6. It's twin turbo, mated to a 10-speed auto. And this is actually one of the better engine presentations I've seen from Lincoln in a while. We got this strut bar up top for better rigidity, but it does give us 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, like I said, mated to a 10-speed auto. It's rear-wheel drive standard. That closed very nicely, very luxuriously. It's rear-wheel drive standard. And then it does have optional all-wheel drive, and I'm excited to start driving it to tell you what it's like. But from the outside, Aviator looks great. I'm happy with the looks. The wheels are enormous on here. Are they going to affect ride quality? Well, we'll have to wait to see. All right, it does have four-door smart key access. Lincoln printed across the back with the light bar. Now, the Nautilus had a light bar as well. This one has a little bit more character to it, I would say, but it's very smoothed out in the back, so pretty generic looking. Quad tip exhausts do look real nice. I'll go and put down below how much this thing can tow. Let's go ahead and lift this up. Plenty of cargo capacity, even if the third row is assembled. We also have underfloor storage that's really going to enhance your experience. And underneath we do have a full diameter spare tire, something that's pretty rare nowadays even in luxury cars. We can fold down the third row of seats back here. You have a 12-volt accessory, small subwoofer back here, but I think there's 28 speakers with this Revel system. My kid's been enjoying the back seat. We'll see if it's cut out for adults here in a little bit. All right, let's get quickly on the inside. The chimes that it makes with the, strings instruments, well, it likes to do that a lot. And if you have a Lincoln, you know. We have the sunscreen here in the back, glossy black here, but the aluminum speaker grill is really, really nice. Even the one down below, really high quality speaker grills. And you push a button to open the door. Interestingly, I think my kids haven't had any problem figuring this out. Go figure. The seats in the back, we do have captain's chairs. In this model, I do believe you can have a bench seat in lower grades, for example. Now, my kids haven't been pressing this button to get in the back, but you can. They just climb through the center console area. Let's go ahead and sit back here, bring this seat back. Well, you can see this one's further back than this one. I have barely any foot space. And headroom space is actually better than I was expecting. I have clearance here even with a hat. Lights back here. I do have vents off to the side, and 2 USB-Cs right here, a cup holder, no USB-Cs on that end, but luckily we still have a vent and cup holders and additional storage. I like how big the windows are back here. It really makes this less of a penalty box, but my kids with their short legs have no problem being back here. So let's go ahead and get in that second row. And this is good for parents or grandparents too that are loading in littles. This door opens almost at 90 degrees. I'd say it's probably like 80 degrees or something. So it opens really, really wide. All right, let's go ahead and sit in this middle row. My kids had so much fun being in this car this week. They have so much fun with all the ambient lighting, which you can't really see, but it's dark in the morning thanks to daylight savings time right now. So they're playing all sorts of games with these compartments. This is felt lined, and how this moves, it makes me wonder if it's removable. I don't think it is. It's not super solid, but I haven't been getting any rattles from it. You can also control the sunshade from back here to enjoy the big pano roof, rubber gaskets here and down here. And then we have this screen, which is you have heated outboard seats. You control the audio. My kid's been playing with this a lot, playing tricks on me. At the very bottom, 2 more USB-Cs and a traditional 110 volt down there with 180 watts of power. Now, these seats are soft back, but they're very like a firm soft back. It's kind of like the dash material that I'll show you in a little bit. Mat pockets on each side. And let's go ahead and get into the front seat. I think it's pretty cozy back here, to be honest. Maybe not the most second row leg room, but nothing to really complain about, I would say, because you can always move that seat further back if you don't have people in the third row. All right, opening this up, look at all the adjustments that we have here for seat. And I like this. As a tall person, you can individually play with the extensions for your thighs. This is massaging seat. It's not the most comfortable seat in my opinion. They kind of have these airliner first class sort of seats that are very thin. I guess it saves weight and probably materials, but you don't really sink into them like a traditional luxury seat. However, the massaging seat kind of does make up for that in my opinion. Folding mirrors, memory seats, all that stuff. Okay, here's that dash material I was talking about that goes across. And we do have a very good head-up display here. Large font, it's bright. It'll even show my blinkers and blind spot monitor. It'll show me turn by turn and Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which is great. Auto dimming rear view mirror and side mirrors. The steering wheel has been a pleasure. You have your Google Assistant right here. You press and hold, and it'll pull up your Google Assistant, assuming you have Android Auto pulled up. I believe this is a 12-inch screen behind the steering wheel. You customize it with these buttons, obviously, but these are not just traditional buttons. These are customizable buttons that kind of works on the fly. Let me explain, all right? While you're driving, you can press cruise control, and then these buttons down below will illuminate. Otherwise, they're completely hidden. You don't even know they're there. For example, off, on. Really like that it kind of declutters all the controls here. Your volume's always up here. Your playlist next is always to the left or to the right. That stays fixed here. You have a home button over here as well as a pages button, but the home button doesn't really turn on unless you're flying through the menus. So if you guys want to see the map view, and by the way, I'm getting about 20 miles per gallon in here, which I'm fairly happy about considering the size and the power of this vehicle. Also, I can control the head-up display through this menu as well. I'm not going to go too much into it and bore you guys. Big screen here. I love it. This is so much better, in my opinion, than the Nautilus, which had a screen all the way across, and I had to look all the way across for certain information. I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit tacky. It's cool. It's a cool technology showcase, but it's not practical. This is very practical. The screen is great. I don't have the most climate control settings down here. Really, it's just max defrost. All of it's built into the bottom of the touchscreen. It's not ideal, but I've gotten used to it, and the auto is so good in here. I haven't needed to adjust this much. My heated seat, heated steering wheel, and ventilated seat buttons are always right here. Put that on auto. The heated steering wheel works really well in here. And this does have Google built in. All right, so that's kind of nice. If you want to use the Google built-in software, I'll just go to Maps. All right, so this is the car's built-in navigation, and then here's my Android Auto navigation. Pretty much looks exactly the same. It just depends on what you want to use. This is going to be subscriptions. Glossy black here, not my favorite, but it hasn't blinded me this week, and it is sandwiched by some really nice materials here on the dash. Drive select here, Lincoln badge there. Volume knob is perfect. I don't have to like move my arm off the armrest to get to the volume knob. So the ergonomics in here are really, really nice. Wireless charger, and then inside you have a USB-C and USB-A. The ambient light in here, I know you're not going to see it because it's a daytime review, but it is bright, very, very bright in here, and the kids love it. So you can close these accordions if you want to make it a little bit nicer. Drive mode select, which only shows up down here, or should I say over here. There's your sport mode, eco mode, standard mode, slippery mode, and then deep conditions. I keep it in normal mode. I think it is perfectly fine the way it is here. More USB-Cs in here, all felt lined. Even this little additional coin tray is felt lined. And I don't have a digital rear mirror. That's one thing maybe this car's lacking. All right, buckling up, let's go and check out this 360 camera in here. Takes up the whole screen. Not the highest resolution, but it helped me park this behemoth in this parking spot. I want to say this thing has like a 118-inch wheelbase, 119-inch. It's a very long vehicle. It's very bus-like, but like a bus, I should say. It is rear-wheel drive biased, and driving this is actually way more fun than I was expecting. The engine on this is a rocket. And we're getting blinded by the sun, I apologize. It's early morning. This thing's performance is just what really blew my socks off. From the small, I think it's a small V6. I mean, 3 liter. I mean, Acura has a 3 liter V6. It's single turbo. That produces 355 horsepower. This gives us 45 more horsepower and about 65 more pound-feet of torque, something like that. Maybe, yeah, around 60 pound-feet of torque if I remember correctly. So it's like I have the same size of engine as an Acura MDX Type S, but it gives me more power, more performance. I wish this engine was in the Acura, because the Acura does things that are better than this vehicle, okay? What does it do better? Well, I think it does handling better. I think the Acura does braking maybe a little bit better. But this vehicle has the better engine in it. Now, this isn't necessarily a sports car. I would say it's like more of a muscle luxury crossover, a muscle luxury, where the MDX is trying to be a sport performance SUV. Yes, that has massaging seats. Yes, it has lots of luxury too. But I feel like this vehicle, it does it more to the catering of comfort. The suspension in here, in this air suspension, so plush. When you take it around a turn, it's a bit loose. Even in sport mode, it feels a bit loosey-goosey. And some people might be okay with that. If like ride quality is your most important thing here, you're gonna get that. And you're gonna get that in spades. But, you know, powering out of a turn, it doesn't feel that good. Even though it's rear-wheel drive bias. I have more, here's the thing. I have more confidence in something like an MDX Type S when I'm pushing it hard. But in a straight line performance, this thing is going to probably take the cake over an MDX Type S. This engine, I know I'm stuck behind a really slow XTS right now, but this engine is a peach. Very smooth, it sounds good, lots of torque. And I think in some markets, this vehicle gets this engine like a plug-in hybrid, so it produces even more power and more torque. So we got a green light here, just pedal down. This thing's so smooth. And that got me up to 70 real quick. All right, just smooth and a deep well of power. All right, let's talk about the rest of this vehicle. I mentioned I like the touchscreen here. Everything feels very ergonomic. The software is great on it. It's fast. The comfort in here, I feel like where my elbows sit is comfortable, but again, even though I have thigh extension here, I just feel like I'm sitting up way too high in this vehicle. I can't lower my seat enough. My eyesight is like up here with the rear view mirror, like almost at the top of the rear view mirror. I don't have a long torso, I have a very short torso, and I just feel like I'm sitting way too high in this Aviator. I wish I could sit about an inch to 2 lower, and I just can't. All right, I feel like it's been designed for old people with shrunken torsos. And maybe that's not PC for me to say, but I just feel like I'm a little out of place in this due to how high I'm sitting in the vehicle. All right, visibility in here is great. Windows are big. The mirrors are a little stubby. That was a cool H2 there, but yeah, I'm happy in here. I've really been enjoying driving this vehicle for the week. There's one thing that really annoys me though, and it's the lack of auto brake hold. It's not here, and it's not in like Audis or Volkswagens either. I just don't know why I can't find it in the car. And I haven't done a Google search to see if it's just not featured here in the Aviator, but there's no auto brake hold. So what does that mean? When I come to a stoplight and the vehicle comes to a stop, I can take my foot off the brake pedal, and the brake pedal will remain engaged until I press the gas pedal again when I'm ready to start rolling it when the light turns green. I just don't have that option here. So every time I'm sitting on a long light, I just put this sucker into park, and then I rest my foot off the gas pedal. So there's my two thoughts there. I wish this had it, and for me in my usage, it's a fairly big ding to not have that sort of feature in such an expensive luxury car. And the Rebel sound system in here, while it sounds really, really good, if you have the bass too high, it will rattle the rear hatch. That's also something I forgot that really annoys me in this car, other than auto brake hold. And at first I thought, I'm like, man, I haven't heard this sound in a song before. Kind of sounds like someone's doing a remix to it, but no, it is the rear hatch shaking because the bass is too strong for, or should I say, I mean, the bass is good in here, but that shouldn't happen in a luxury vehicle. The rear hatch shouldn't shake with some hard-hitting bass. That is unacceptable. I haven't been getting any creaks or rattles, which is great. This has about 6,300 miles on it, this 2025 model. I don't have any issues with the luxury. Like the sound isolation in here, like it's really, really good. It's not the quietest car, but I'm never annoyed with the outside noise. What about the ride quality? Well, I mentioned it's really, really soft, but I do have 22-inch wheels in here. So there are times where there is less than perfect roads, and I do start feeling it shake through the cabin just a little bit. And it reminds me a little bit of the Navigator, but this feels far more luxurious than the Navigator in terms of, I guess, execution and VH. The Navigator, I had so much vibration through the pedals, through the floor, through the steering wheel. Now I still have that, but to a much lesser degree. I still have vibration through the steering wheel, but it doesn't really annoy me or bother me here in the vehicle. Some people in their luxury cars like to feel maybe more character through the steering wheel, a little bit more preciseness. There's not a lot here, and more vibrations. I don't like that in a vehicle like a Lincoln, where it's trying to just be a smooth criminal here. It really prioritizes comfort, right? And so when I have vibrations through the steering wheel, it kind of takes me away out of that serene, just plush, cream puff sort of ride that I'm expecting from a big Lincoln like this. But brakes here, I've had no issues braking this vehicle. There is a good amount of pitch and dive, and it's really pronounced when you give this thing the full beans, because when you're looking out the back window, all you see is the pavement because the vehicle squats down, and so you look at your rear window and all you see is the road right behind you. And then when you get off the accelerator, then you can see down the road once again. So this thing does have a good amount of pitch and dive due to its favoritism with comfort. Now, like I said, sport mode is more aggressive here. Steering stiffens up, the suspension stiffens up, but it's not nearly as playful and sporty as something like an MDX Type S. All right, it's just so smooth. This 10-speed auto is so good, so good. I've tested this 10-speed auto in F-150, like the Raptor R. I believe that's a similar transmission to this. It just grabs gears and rips. Love this transmission, love this engine. This powertrain's an absolute gem. And sport mode, just yeah. I haven't been driving it much in sport mode. I prefer normal mode or comfort mode or eco mode, whatever it's called. And I still feel like it's plenty responsive here, even in normal mode. So it's far more twitchy in sport mode with the gas pedal, which is not my cup of tea. So anyways, let's head to the office and stack it up and see if there are good deals out there on the Lincoln Aviator. So there are deals to be had. You can see right away on this reserve model that it's getting like a $4 or $5 grand discount. Lincoln is prioritizing the mid-grade here. However, don't be scared of the base grade, the Premier, because, well, you can get it under $60,000. It still has parking sensors. You still have heated seats on there, and you get the standard powertrain, and you get the big screens in there. You're not going to have a head-up display. You're not going to have the BlueCruise 360 camera, but these can be had also with the big panel roof. So I think this is the best buy in the lineup. and there's no way I would pick any level of the Nautilus over the Aviator. But some people think that the Reserve is a good buy. I think the Black Label is a terrible buy because it really doesn't, it's just aesthetics on top of, I think you can get like an orange interior, but it's, you know, the Black Label is not a good buy. It's very, very expensive, almost $90K before discounts. Now there are discounts to be had on it, but the Reserve, it gives you the 360 camera. You get, I believe, a better sound system. Let's see here. You get 4-zone climate control. Is that really necessary? It's up to you guys, because you're still going to have vents in the rear in the third row, even on the base model. So, all right. Not as good of deals as I thought we would see on these Lincolns, because I know Lincoln has pretty high inventory right now. But maybe this is one of the better selling models. Okay, if I go to lowest price and we're going to click on off click here, I'm seeing $5,000 discounts, but honestly, I thought I would be seeing more. Okay, so let's get into the best cars, or all the cars I've driven here in 2025 so far. Do you got to pay me to drive the Aviator? Absolutely not. I actually enjoy driving it quite a bit. It's fun. It's comfortable. It has all the tech I could want. It has all the luxury really I could want, except auto brake hold and a rattly trunk. So let's see here. It's definitely a solid buy, or is it an excellent purchase? I think since I enjoyed it so much better than the Nautilus, which was a solid buy, I think it's going to be an excellent purchase. I think the Lincoln Aviator, it really surprised me, guys. We're going to put it, let's just put it right here. Let's go and put it here. I reviewed it on 3/18, and it's an excellent purchase, especially if you're able to get at least a $5,000 discount on it. Don't buy the Black Label, the Reserve or the Premier models. That's where you want to be. It's not a perfect luxury car, but if you can get one under 60K, I think it's a really, really good buy. So Lincoln, well done with the Aviator. You know, the Nautilus that I reviewed cost $80,000 sticker. The powertrain, yes, it's a hybrid, and while it's slightly more efficient, it's not as good. It was just too much tech overload. It was a good car, and that's why I put it as a solid buy. It's just that the Aviator is a much better vehicle for about the same money, and you get 3 rows if you need it, and you get a twin turbo V6, and that thing's just, it's so good. So thank you, Lincoln, for sending it to me. Hopefully I get a chance to test out the updated Navigator, because the last time I drove a Navigator, I wasn't impressed for the money. Maybe this time around, I'll be impressed like I was with the Aviator. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Oh, and Lincoln, put an auto brake hold. I'm not asking too much. Catch you in the next one, and have a great day. Peace.